Now, I've never been a fan of this thing, Apple's clear case. I didn't think very highly of last year's model, but this new one with this white back, and what is the deal with the white back? Don't worry, I got answers for you. Isn't the worst case that I've tested so far. At the end of the day, should you get this case? Let's get into it. I'm on a mission to find the 5 best cases out of 50. I've tested 16 so far. Because I'm a reviewer, not an influencer, for the iPhone 17s, my scoring system is based on what the iPhone actually feels when it hits the ground on its corner, on its face, as well as on its camera lump. Every case in my video gets dropped at least 30 times. So when I say it's terrible, it's because I've got the data to back it up. All right, this is going to be review number 3 out of 50. Now, between last year's model and this year's model, you'd probably think the white back is the biggest difference, right? And you're not wrong, but I prefer this over this because there's no more rainbowing effects on the back of the iPhone. Hard to tell in this light, but it's there. And this white thing adds a bit more thickness to the shell. It's so thin, but it is there. And the coolest thing about this case, there's an air gap between the back of the iPhone and this white piece. You'll see in the protection section why that matters. When it comes to weight, this thing weighs 35 grams, which is actually no heavier than the previous case I reviewed, the TechWoven. How much fatter does it make your iPhone? It's going to make your iPhone feel bigger by 46%. Again, no worse than this, but because this thing feels incredibly smooth, it feels bigger because you spend way more time gripping it. The finish on this product is incredibly smooth. Again, it just feels like a wet bar soap. I don't understand who would want a product with this kind of finish on it. When it comes to accessing your iPhone, the buttons are flow-through, though they are plastic. They've got a decent feel to it, and the camera control button is the same color as this white plate. But here's an interesting tidbit with the Air version. I know it's not called the clear case, but the iPhone Air case kind of has the same finish. It's very, very smooth, but the iPhone Air case has rubber buttons. The buttons are also flow-through, so it makes the entire iPhone Air that much better to use with this very, very slick case. This thing should follow this thing's lead. Now, when it comes to MagSafe accessories, when it comes to pulling them off, took about 9.5 newtons. And when it came to pushing things off, it was 7.7 newtons. Those numbers are basically the bare minimum in terms of a MagSafe performance, and the push is terrible, mostly because the back is incredibly smooth. Regardless, it's 15% lower than the average case that I've tested. All right, let's talk about protection. Now, this case is basically one big rigid piece of polycarbonate. This product does have a bit of a coating to it that makes it feel a little softer, like you can kind of put your fingernail prints into it. This product will fly around like an air hockey puck if you really wanted to, especially on its face. The corners on this case are about 1.8 mils thick. The back is 1.8 mils thick. Now, when it comes to the flexibility of the back, in my compression test, this thing took 63 newtons to bend at 8 millimeters. This thing is stiff. And this thing is stiffer than the average iPhone case by 115%. Now, when it came to corner drops, this iPhone gave this case 10.2 newtons, which is pretty close to what the TechWoven case tested to. Now, remember that tiny gap between the iPhone and the back of this case? That air gap almost acts like a mini suspension system. So when it falls, this thing settles down quicker by 30%. 30% above average, which is spectacular. At the end of the day, the total force going into this iPhone was 1.53 newtons per second. And when it comes to face drops, this is the first case out of the Apple's grouping that didn't fail the test. This case has the same level of screen clearance as the other two products, but this lip at the top has very little give. So when you do this, that's not the sound of glass hitting the table. It's the edge of the iPhone case. So for face drops, the initial impact was good. The total amount of force was good as well, but the bounce was not great. Now, the other two cases weren't as rigid, but because of the rigid back on this one, during the face first drop, it would bounce just a bit more. And when it comes to camera lump drops, the initial impact was good, total was good, but the bounce again was not good. Same story, the super rigid back just did this just a bit more. So if I wasn't a reviewer, would I get this product? The short answer is no. This thing handles like a wet bar soap. I don't like that. Now, if you're looking for the toughest Apple branded product, then out of these 3 cases, it's actually this one. Again, very surprised, but that's what I do. Reviewer, not influencer. I'm testing 50 iPhone 17 cases to find the best 5. Subscribe if you haven't. Make sure you check back regularly because the next case review I'm dropping is this thing. It's for mouse. Thanks for watching.